Hey everybody, forgive the back-to-back videos. I try not to slam people with too much content in a couple of days, but I wanted to touch on something that has come up over the last 24 hours as it relates to YouTube. And for some of you it's going to affect you very directly. For some of you it's going to affect you indirectly. But if you are either on YouTube or you are a fan of those who are on YouTube, there's been a change that is going to affect how you experience the platform. Little background. In my real life, I am a marketing manager, and I've spent years, probably about 10 years now, learning how SEO works, learning how algorithms work for different platforms, be it for Google, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, any of these other groups. And each one of them has their own algorithm, and an algorithm is basically the little piece of code behind the scenes that takes one result. When you go for a search, it'll take one result and put it above another result. And each of them has their own way that they do this. Each has its own algorithm, and for the most part, they all try to keep their algorithms somewhat private and secret, primarily because they don't want people to game the system. Back in the let's call it 2008 to 2012 time span, there's a lot of people who had kind of figured out what it took to rise to the top of the Google algorithm, the Google search algorithm, and a lot of people were gaming the system, and it flooded the internet with crap content. And so they changed everything up, and they knocked them all down. And Google owns YouTube, and so I mean these are people that really do kind of know what to do with their algorithms. They've got a lot of experience. Over the last couple of years, YouTube has had some exponential growth, obviously. And as part of that, we've seen a lot of stations pop up. My station is going on 3 years old, although, you know, the first year was kind of there, kind of not there. It's only really been a thing for about a year where I've actually done much with it. But throughout that time, I've seen a lot of changes in how creators are putting content out. There's a lot of things that are going on right now in the content end of it. There's a lot of people who are trying to game the system, trying to pick up as many subs as possible so that they can either make money off of the advertising, which is sort of what it's there for, or they are doing it because they are going to then spam people. And what we're seeing right now is there's a lot of spam channels out there, and there's a lot of crap content out there. And YouTube is swinging for the fences, trying to knock it out, because their advertisers are running away from the platform. It's just, YouTube is not profitable for Google at this point. There's just too much content out there, not enough advertisers, and the advertisers who are advertising aren't seeing enough of a return on their investment to justify the spend that they're putting through. So what we're seeing now is YouTube is, at the beginning of this year, they started changing up what it takes to be monetized. You had to have 1,000 subscriptions. Pardon me. You had to have a huge amount of hours, hundreds of thousands of hours worth of view time on your channel in the last year, and it demonetized a lot of people. This station included, which, you know, that's fine. I was never really doing this for the monetization, so didn't really hurt me. But it hurt a lot of other people. And YouTube said at the time that they were not going to promote the monetized stations that were left over unfairly above the non-monetized stations, because a lot of the smaller channels were upset, saying, well, if you're not going to get any commercial content off of us, why would you show us in the search algorithms? And YouTube said, don't worry, we're not gonna do that. Skip ahead to yesterday, and it leaked that YouTube has changed their algorithm yet again, so that when you do search now, excuse me, not search, but when you go into your timeline, where usually you get all your subscriptions in chronological order, the most recent is at the top, and down. YouTube is changing the algorithm a little bit so that it's not going to be chronological anymore. It's going to be based on what they feel is best for you. And that throws a lot of people off, because two things are happening there. First of all is you have YouTube now deciding for you what you should see. Now you can still do a search and find what you're looking for, but that's kind of a lousy argument, because if you don't know something exists, you won't know to search for it. So if you've subscribed to a whole bunch of people, suddenly their videos might not show up like they should in the chronological order. Instead, it's going to show you what YouTube thinks you would like to watch. So that's kind of a thing. The other potential issue we're running into here is the question of whether or not Google is going to choose those channels, usually larger channels most likely, who are monetized and have a lot of playbacks to show to you, because that's where they get to show their commercials, and that's where they earn their revenue themselves. So the little channels at this point are all a little worried that they're going to get dropped off of the search results in the timeline by this new algorithm change. And YouTube has not commented on whether or not that's the case. It's a little known secret that the smaller YouTube channels have taken a beating this year. And when I say smaller channels, I'm talking really any channel under 100,000 subscribers. And even those channels that are 100 to 200, they're still relatively small in the greater scheme of this whole thing. So what does this mean for you? Well, if you're a content creator, one of two things is going to most likely happen. If you're a small station, your chances of showing up in the algorithm and finding more viewers and subscriptions and growing your channel have decreased. It's going to be a little bit harder. You can still get people to your channel, but you're probably going to have to advertise off the platform. Bring people in from Facebook, bring people in from Twitter, bring people in email, whatever it is. They're going to have to look for you specifically. It's kind of hard to get the word out when it's this humid out here in Florida. It's just sticky. And you have to tell people to ring that bell notification and to make sure they get all notifications, not just some. For the bigger channels, one or two things is going to happen. Either you're going to do even better because your stuff is going to be pushed out more and more, or if you're sort of on that cusp level, chances are you're going to be caught in the middle. All I got to say about that is that if my income was based purely on YouTube, as my friend Brian has said over at NolaDad08, I'd be scared to death right now. So, what does that mean for YouTube watchers? Well, it means that the content that you want to watch isn't necessarily going to show up like it should. Some of your favorite creators, and maybe not so favorite creators that you've subscribed to, you might not get notifications anymore that their content is new, that they've put something new out. You might have to go look for it, and you might also find your viewing experience to be lessened because you have an outside influence choosing what you quote-unquote want to see and what you like based on some sort of information, some sort of algorithm that you don't really understand. So what does this mean for me? Not a whole lot to begin with. Over the last several days, I've already started doing a few things off YouTube. There's now a group called Explorin' Ryan, Vlogs to Tolerate with Friends. That's over on Facebook if you want to join up on that one. And I'll still be posting links there when new content pops up, and I'll be sharing friends' content as well. I'm going to be posting a lot more on Twitter and on Facebook. Did start a Spreadshirt store recently, which is shop.spreadshirt.com/Explorin-Ryan. I'll have a link below. That is just, I don't really make anything off of the Spreadshirts. That's just a way to kind of promote the channel a little bit, and because people have actually asked for t-shirts. This way I don't have to sink my own money into buying a whole bunch and selling them. If you were a small channel, I think it's time to start looking at what else you can do offline to push more people towards your channel. So that's about it. Just want to share the update with you guys. Thanks for being here. Thanks for sticking around throughout the last several years, and we'll talk to you soon.